In this video, we will configure URL filtering. This security option allows us to filter websites that we deem inappropriate and block them from being displayed to our users. To use this feature and to get the latest updates to the URL database, you must have the URL filtering license installed. In our case, we do have that license installed, which we showed you from a previous video. So make sure to check that out if you haven't seen the video for how to install a license on the appliance. Okay, so to configure URL filtering, we first need to go to the Objects tab. Then under Security Profiles, let's go to URL filtering. And here you will see a default profile that we can use for our deployment. Well, we're going to add a new profile, but before we do that, nothing is being filtered now. So that means that our users can access any website that they like. So for example, if they access the website Happy Tree Friends, this is a common site that I use for testing inappropriate websites. So you can tell that this site here is coming up, it's resolving. And basically we want to block this particular page from being displayed, or this type of content to being displayed to our users. So we're going to set up a profile that's going to do exactly that. Let's first create a new profile that we will use in our configuration. And to keep things simple, we will copy this existing default one. So we're going to select this and then go to clone at the bottom. So now we see default one. Let's go ahead and go into those properties. And this is what we see. So we have the option of specifying the name for this profile, which we are going to do. We can set up a custom block and a allow list based on our parameters of what we want to block. We'll do that in a separate section in this video. And you'll see various categories here on the right. Those categories represents a group of websites based on what they are. So you see things like adult websites, auction websites, dating. Let's scroll down a little bit here. See things like music or nudity, part, sports, society, social networking, even down to web-based email. You also see the default actions to them, whether they are allowed or if they are blocked. Now we can change this to what we want the action to be. But one of the main questions that I usually get from users who manage a Palo Alto appliance is, how do they know what category a website belongs to? Like Happy Tree Friends, how do we know which one of these categories we need to select and to make sure that we block it? But luckily we can easily do that if we click on check URL category within this page. And that will redirect us to a different page. So here for the URL, we can enter the URL we want to check the category for. So let's type in Happy Tree Friends. Happy Tree Friends. Okay, and let's go ahead and enter the correct CAPTCHA phrase. Make sure we type this in correct. And let's say search. So doing that, it will search the database and we will see that Happy Tree Friends is part of the entertainment and arts category. Therefore, that's what we can select if we want to allow or block within our configuration. Therefore, let's go back to our firewall. And for categories, let's search for entertainment and arts. And all of this is listed in alphabetical order. And there it is. So here's our category, and let's change the action to be block. Great. So basically, we can do the same for any other category here that we want to block or allow. We can do that here. So once we're done, let's go ahead and first change the name of this profile. And let's go ahead and click on OK to create this new profile and the changes that we did for entertainments and arts. Next, we need to associate this profile to one of our security rules. So to do that, let's go back to policies. And here you will see the security rule of users outbound internet. And right now you can see that this rule is allowing applications like DNS, web browsing, even Facebook, things that we talked about in a separate video. So what we're going to do is basically edit this rule to include URL filtering, and it's very easy. Okay, so here we need to go to the Actions tab. And for profile settings, we're going to select the profile type to be profiles. And there is a long list of things that we can enable here, like antivirus, file blocking, and those will be separate videos that we'll talk about. But we're focused on URL filtering, which is right here, and we're going to select the appropriate profile that we created. And that's it. Once we have selected that, we're going to click on OK to make those changes. Then we need to commit our changes. And that is finished with no errors. Let's close this up. And of course, you'll notice that when we made that change, for this particular security rule, you see that profile, it will reflect this icon, which means that it is enabled for URL filtering. Now, let's bring back our user computer that we were able to access happytreefriends.com. And let's go ahead and refresh this page and see what happens. And there it is. The page is now blocked. We see a default page that is displayed here. It gives a general message up here. We see our IP address, the website that we're trying to access, and the category that the page is being blocked. So we have confirmed that our configuration works for enabling URL filtering.